I'm sure you've seen this movie called Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. And there is this very famous scene where you see the crowd separates, and then Indy can see this big guy, and he's swinging a sword and looks very, very dangerous. And Indy, he's very, very tired and very, very sweaty, and he just takes up his gun and shoots the guy. And then he moves on and is on his way. Actually, they had planned something else. They had planned to go for a scene where Indy, I think there would be some sort of a fight where he eventually, with his whip, would pull the sword out of the hands of this big, strong guy. But they were behind schedule because Harrison Ford had been sick for a few days. So they were behind schedule, and I think George Lucas just said to them, guys, go ahead, do something fast. We need to move on and get back on schedule. So make sure you get this recorded. I think he gave them 1 hour, actually. And they did. They came up with this idea. Why doesn't he just take the gun and shoot the guy, and then he can continue? The reason why I bring this up is because this is exactly where I was when I bought my Nikon Z7. I actually traded in my Z6 Mark II for a Z7 Mark II. That's why I can't do a head-to-head compare, because I couldn't afford to have both cameras. But I did trade to get this one, and I was planning to make a long video where I explained and said, these are the differences, and I have noticed this, I have noticed that, and wow, this is where the 7 is different from the 6, and la-di-da-di-da-di-da. But actually, I feel a little bit when I did the planning and actually started shooting with the camera. I did some talking and recorded some video where I explained some of the differences. But actually, as a landscape photographer, it's the same camera. Do I dare to say that? I know, you will object to this, of course, because the big difference here is the resolution and the bump up in resolution. You get 87% more resolution here, and I will talk about that a little bit later. But the other differences, if you are a portrait or an event, or you shoot something that moves fast, maybe some of the differences between the Z6 Mark II and the Z7 Mark II are important to you. But as a landscape, I shoot macro, I do products, a little bit of abstract, that kind of stuff. Basically things that don't move. I haven't really noticed the differences between the two cameras, but they are there. For instance, this one has a lower base ISO. Also, it has more focus points. And then this one has dropped the anti-aliasing filter because that is conflicting with the very high resolution of the sensor. I think you would get some strange results. So that is dropped. So these are some of the differences. There are probably more that I forget. But what I want to talk about a little bit here is the resolution, because I think that is the main argument for buying the Z7 Mark II. Also, you should be aware we are now in June 2025. So these cameras are getting a little bit dated. I think model-wise they came out in 2020. You already now had the Z6 Mark III is out there, and it has a much better focus system, is what I understand, than you see in the previous version. And also I would believe that the Z7 Mark III would be out later this year. So maybe if you are thinking about buying these cameras, you should wait until the end of the year and see if the Z7 Mark III has some of the autofocus issues solved that this one has. So the Z7 obviously has much more resolution, 87%. But here's the thing. If you look at what you get in the 2 dimensions, X and Y, of course, then it's only 37% you get more. And maybe this is more psychology than it is mathematics, but it always gets to me when I sit and edit the images that the 87% in a linear fashion, when you square it, it's actually only 37%. And it doesn't feel like very much when you see it on the screen. Although I will say that when you do cropping, you will find that it gives you a lot more resolution. And I think this is the main rational argument for going for the Z7 Mark II over the Z6 Mark II. That is that if you need to crop, if you need to cut away a lot of the things in the image to get to the vital part, then the resolution is really, really useful. There are some who say that, yeah, but I need to print big, so I need a lot of resolution. Well, you actually don't. I'm sorry to say, because what happens is that when you print big, people will also tend to view your images from a a longer distance. And my favorite example here is a billboard that typically has a resolution of 1 to 2 megapixels. And the reason why it looks tack sharp when you drive by on the highway is simply because the viewing distance is very, very large. So there is this counterintuitive thing that actually the bigger you print, the further away people will step, and actually the less resolution you need. If you don't believe me, I have some videos where I've shot, I think, a meter wide images. I haven't shot a meter wide image. I've printed a meter wide images based on my Nikon Z7ii, which is a 12 megapixel camera. And I didn't miss one single pixel in those images. And there are some details that are just very, very impressive. There's a little spider web where you can see all the details. So I don't think there is a rational argument for going for the Z7 Mark II if you say that you want to print big. I don't think that is a need. But if you crop a lot like I do, I think that is the argument. And you can of course say, yeah, but why don't you just frame your images correct when you do your shoot? Yes, you're right. Maybe I could be better at that. But the thing is that sometimes I don't know exactly the composition or the framing when I do the shoot. That I sort of process when I do the post-processing. And therefore I have really good benefit, especially for macro photography, of the very large resolution of the images that you have on the Z7 Mark II. But other than that, I can't really find good rational arguments for buying the Z7 Mark II over the Z6 Mark II. The reason why I bought the Z7 Mark II over the Z6 Mark II was simply because I was curious. I wanted to see what it could do. And I'm a little bit of a gearhead, I have to admit that. But I didn't try to convince myself that I needed this very much, because I think 98% of all photographers who have a Z6 Mark II, they don't need the Z7 Mark II. It is simply plenty with resolution. It's only if you can see that you systematically go in and crop your images heavily, then I think there is a good argument for the Z7 Mark II. So if you were hoping for me praising the Z7 Mark II and saying this is a fantastic camera, well, it is. It is a fantastic camera, but it's just not that different from the Z6 Mark II. And I think that value-wise, the Z6 is the camera of the two compared. And also, I was sorry to learn that the focus system of the Z7 here, it's not better. I hope that it's just a firmware update away, but it's so often that I sit, with a flower in front of me and the camera, and I ask it to focus, and the focus plane walks right through the flower and focuses on the background. There's something in the focus system that prioritizes the background rather than the subject, and I don't know why that is. It was annoying with the Z6 Mark II. It's also annoying with the Z7 Mark II. I think they have fixed it in the Z6 Mark III, and hopefully they will also fix it in the Z7 Mark III when it's out later this year. Yep, that's it from me. As always, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.